Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News with me, Katura King. What we know so far is that the sexual allegations date back as far as the 1970s. Further to that, the NYPD Special Victims Unit recently released a secret recording where Weinstein can be heard begging an Italian model by the name of Ambra Battilana Guterres to watch him take a shower. The model was initially invited to the Weinstein office in the Tribeca Film Center, where he allegedly touched her inappropriately. After the meeting, the model reported the incident to the police, whereupon they orchestrated a follow-up meeting to the secret recording of the Hollywood producer. He can be heard telling Ambra to come here now and to not ruin her friendship with him for 5 minutes. Let's take a listen.
I'm telling you right now.
What do we have to do here?
Nothing. I'm going to take a shower. You sit there and have a drink. Water.
I don't drink. Can I stay on the bar?
No, you must come here now.
No.
Please.
No, I don't want to.
I'm not doing anything with you. Now you're embarrassing me.
I'm sorry. I
No,
cannot.
come in
No,
here.
yesterday was a kind of aggressive for me. I need to know a person to
I
be
won't
touched.
do a thing.
I don't want
Do a
to
thing, please. I swear I won't. Just sit with me. Don't embarrass me in the hotel. I'm here all the time.
I
Sit
know,
with me.
but
I
I don't
promise.
want to.
Please sit there. Please. 1 minute.
No,
I
I
ask
can't.
you. Go to the bathroom.
Please, I don't want to do something I don't want
Go
to.
to the bathroom. Come here. Listen to me.
I want to go downstairs.
I'm not going to do anything. You'll never see me again after this. Okay? That's it. If you embarrass me in this hotel,
I'm not
I'll stay.
embarrassing you. It's just that I don't feel comfortable.
I mean, don't have a fight with me in the
It's
hall.
not nice.
Please, I'm not going to do anything. I swear, my children. Please come in. On everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Please come in now. And 1 minute. And if you want to leave, when the guy comes with my
Why
jacket, you can go.
yesterday you touched my wrist?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But
Come on.
are you used to that?
Yes, come in. Because
No, but I'm not used to
I
that.
won't do it again. Come on. Sit here. Sit here for a minute, please.
No, I don't want
If
to.
you do this now, you will embarrass me. But no. Fine. Never call me again. Okay? I'm sorry. I promise you I won't do anything.
I know, but yesterday was...
That is appalling stuff. It's actually quite scary to listen to. I've got goosebumps on my arms because what we know is that this man had a modus operandi, if you will, whereby he lured these unsuspecting women to a hotel room or his office or a meeting spot, and might even have a female executive there to sort of put the lady at ease. And then within half a second, the executive suddenly has to leave the office, whereupon he then makes his sexual advances. And we know that there are innumerable female celebrities that have come out to condemn this man and to actually share their own stories. And I think what put the nail in the coffin was Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelina Jolie's admissions. Now, what is your take on what these women have had to say in terms of the way he miscut?
Well, I think the common thread is, first of all, I mean, inviting them, having the meeting in his hotel room. And he seems to have a thing for showers or whatever, massages. And so he would make, unattractive advances or whatever, unwanted, asking them to massage him. In the case of Gwyneth Paltrow, she was much younger then. She was 22. And, she went to his room for a work meeting.
He asked for the same thing.
And he asked for a massage.
So if we look back to Nigeria, what sort of penalties does this carry? If a celebrity was to do the exact same thing on our territory, what would happen to them? Well, I'm
not so sure about Lagos and most other places apart from Abuja, because sexual assault under the criminal code, the penal code, the criminal code for the southern parts of Nigeria and the penal code for the northern parts of Nigeria, it's actual rape, penetration and things like that. That is sexual assault. It's only when you get to Abuja where you have like the Violence Against Persons Act, it's different. There it recognizes that there are other types of sexual assault that is not just the penetration between, non-consensual penetration between a man and a woman. Right. So, first of all, in Nigeria, maybe you would be able to make that case if it was in Abuja. I don't know about other parts of Nigeria.
So what you're saying is if this were to happen to somebody in Lagos,
yes,
you wouldn't have a case?
Not really, because the law, because the criminal code, only makes room for rape.
Wow.
You know, but this is what we've been crying about law reform, and that the laws are, some of our laws are actually outdated and need to be looked at and,
Absolutely.
you know, brought up to modern day, you know, to meet modern day standards, you know. So I think it's only Abuja that
So
maybe.
why are these laws so outdated? What do we have in place to protect women?
Well, we have, in fact, you'll be shocked to find out that under the penal code, a man can't rape his wife.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
you know, I've heard that a few times living in this country, and I really don't understand it, because even, I believe there was a case whereby, you know, the people dated previously, and then they broke up, and then he raped her, but because they had broken up before, it wasn't counted as rape. What does that mean? If it's not consensual, surely that equates to rape.
Of course, it is.
Why does that not seem to tally up in this country?
Because our laws are outdated. They're not, I mean, they're just not up to, I mean, you find laws that are still fining 20 naira.
Yeah.
You know, maybe when it was 20, you know.
when we don't actually even really use 20 naira for anything any longer.
Yeah, so we need to
update the laws.
Yes, there needs to be law reform, you know, and taking into consideration, okay, take for example, homosexuality is an offense in Nigeria, but that
punishable by 14 years in jail.
But that does not mean that, you know, a man will not try and rape another man. But under the criminal code and
sodomy
the penal code, there's no provision for rape of a man.
Wow.
Well, sodomy is an offense, but you know where. You get up to life imprisonment for rape under the criminal code and the penal code and the other laws. So apart from Abuja, where, you know, it could, you know, a man trying to rape another man, you know, could get a life imprisonment.
But
in Lagos,
Abuja,
and it's between a man and a woman.
Why is that? So is it because Abuja is a federal government territory as opposed to an actual state of sorts? Does that have any bearing on this?
I think that probably because Abuja is fairly newer than, I mean, it's much newer than most of the other areas. So maybe the laws have been enacted, you know, much later than the old criminal code and the penal code and all that. So it's a bit more up to date, you know.
And you know, with this Weinstein case, what we're seeing, one positive I will say that has come out of it is the fact that it's opening a discourse amongst the public. You know, people are actually stating, well, this is wrong, and now we realize that we shouldn't even be covering up for people that we know that have done or are doing the same thing. And it's not specific to just the entertainment industry in America. It's not specific to just Hollywood, because we hear about a lot of these undercover cases in Nigeria that are not reported. But to the extent that movies are being created about this, and they say art imitates life. So there was a movie that was, I believe it was created last year, called The Arbitration, where it expressly deals with this exact topic about a woman who, you know, a lady who doesn't have as much as the boss, of course, and because he is her boss, is forced into a compromising situation with him, and then tries to get justice. So let's take a little look at the trailer.
Tell us about yourself.
My name is Olugbenga Sonny, and I'm the CEO of Iwaju Limited.
Who exactly is Miss Dara Olujobi, and what is your relationship with her?
Go away, I have work to do. He had sex with me against my will.
You did not rape her?
No.
You did not coerce her?
No.
Why did you sleep with her?
I love her.
I expected him to live up to the promise he made me.
And what promise is that?
To love me for the rest of our lives.
He's a married man, Miss Olujobi. He doesn't get to keep that promise.
Mommy, I can't lose this.
So you could have had sex with him 1,000,000 times before, but all that matters is that the last time was coerced.
He's going to lie.
Of course he's going to lie.
We were in love.
But you betrayed her.
I did my best for her.
Easy for you to say you owned your shares. She had to wait for her.
It is my company.
She is the reason for its success.
I disagree with you on that.
What does it matter if he's still there?
He doesn't get to rape you and have it be okay.
But honestly, do you think it's actually possible for someone to rape someone without force, the way they are describing?
Talk to your client.
Wow, powerful stuff. I mean, even watching that in context of what we're speaking about, I'm thrown for a loop. What is it about this country whereby we are unable to adequately get justice for rape victims, or whereby they're even afraid to come forward?
Because of the stigma, and then here maybe they'll say, oh, it's the woman's fault. Maybe she was wearing, dressed provocatively or whatever it is. But, basically, maybe because our society is traditional, so people don't want that stigma. I probably won't get a husband to marry if people know I've been raped and all that. So basically, stigma.
And it's interesting that we're discussing this at the end of a week whereby we've had Mental Health Awareness Day, we've had International Day of the Girl, whereby we're talking about giving females voices and empowering females, and we're talking about mental health and the effects that trauma can have and leave on a person. And I believe one of the only Nigerian celebrities to actually have a public scandal against him dealing with sexual harassment is Timaya. Now, what happened in that situation? From what I understand, do you have the details of that?
No, but I know that he's defending himself and obviously saying, oh, he had her consent, But I didn't really follow the story.
It's interesting because this is a lady, I believe he went to America for a concert and met up with a lady who had been messaging him, and, they had... Well, they slept together, whether it was consensual or non-consensual, we do not know. This is what's being speculated about, but he's the only person that you can actually even find information on about a rape scandal, which leads me to wonder, is it that there are many, many more cases out there that aren't being reported on?
Of course.
Or do they just not exist?
No, I'm sure they do, but I'm a woman, and I would never, ever condone rape or sexual harassment or anything like that. But you do have a lot of women that actually lie. When they feel rejected by the man, oh, maybe he's had a one-night stand with me or whatever, and, they don't hear from him anymore and he's cold, they turn around and say, oh, he raped me,
Whilst there are those cases of people crying wolf, there are also a lot of valid cases. And I do think that those are the ones that we should be focusing on, because those are the ones that don't get to the light.
Like I said, stigma. So people, and then also being, it's maybe hard to prove. Of course, Nigeria, there's hardly any forensics or whatever, in America, you would immediately dash to the hospital, do a rape, there's rape kit, do the test, take out, if there's anything, do DNA,
to be able to
you
prove
gather
it.
the evidence. I mean, we're not even close. We don't have that, so it's difficult to prove. It's almost as if it's his word against hers.
Absolutely.
And, they may say, oh, well, the evidence is even stacked up against you. What were you doing in his house at 9 p.m. at night and all that?
I think it's a conversation that definitely needs to be delved into a lot deeper than we've had the chance to do today. But I thank you so much for joining me this morning, Mrs. Brathwaite.
Thank you for having me.
That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thanks once again to my contributor, Mrs. Onikepo Brathwaite, for joining me, Katura King. And of course, thanks to you at home for watching. From my entire team and I here in Lagos, all that's left for me to say is enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.